Welcome everybody to Rob's MetalWorks. We are here at the home studio. Yes, we are continuing to bring all our followers across the world Texas metal, and it doesn't get any greater at the hierarchy than our very own here from San Antonio, the legendary Upon a Burning Body. I have with me guitarist Ruben Alvarez of the band. Sir, what a great pleasure. I feel like we've already done an interview before we started recording.
Definitely, man. What's up? How you doing?
Oh, man. You know, I always love talking to you, man, because you have such a good, great, positive vibe about you. And you know, we always talk about real stuff that's happening in our music scene.
Definitely.
So let's continue our great conversations. And now all our people out there can see and hear about our little, you know, intricacies of what's happening with music and with Upon a Burning Body. First of all, let me ask you, I haven't seen you since, I think, the summer of 2019 when we last interviewed in support of Southern Hostility. And of course, since that time, a lot has happened. So how have you and the band been kind of dealing during this pandemic?
It's been tough, man. I mean, we just keep chugging along, keep writing. I mean, that's pretty much all you can do at this time is be creative. And, you know, I feel like after this is all over, that's really when it's going to pop off. And all these artists that have been kind of, you know, in the back, just been writing great music. And I feel like as soon as it's over and tours start up again, we're going to have so much great music. And that's all we've been doing is just writing and writing.
Really?
Yeah, definitely. Getting ready.
Yeah. That's great. And I think that, you know, if we're stuck in our homes, you know, you still want to kind of try to be productive, you know? Yeah. You know, and I really kind of want to start off before we start talking about the new EP. I remember when I interviewed you for Southern Hostility, I kind of felt, you know, even though it was a full-length record, I kind of felt, and I don't think you guys ever kind of said this or accentuated it, but I kind of felt it was kind of like a new era for the band. Like it was a new beginning for Upon a Burning Body. The music, I knew that there was kind of a direction to, again, kind of get more brutal. You guys have always been heavy, but kind of really to kind of simplify the sound, make it a little bit more raw and be more brutal in that sense. But it seemed to me like it was kind of a new era with the band. You were on a new label, Seek and Strike, and things like that. So was that kind of y'all's feeling at that time? I mean, I say at that time, and I'm just talking about a year ago.
Well, I think since the year has passed, we got to see the reaction of it. And I feel, honestly, like, yeah, that's exactly what happened. It's like almost like a phoenix just rising out of the ashes. Like, all the response has been amazing. So for us, it really feels like it's like a restart. You know what I mean? A lot of new fans are coming in. A lot of people that have never heard us before. We're still expanding and growing. I think that shows us that we're doing something right, you know, that the band continues to grow. And, you know, that's a goal, like for any band, is just keep growing and keep you know, reaching new fans.
We had talked off camera about the fact that Straight from the Bar, you kind of had first met now, who's become a mainstay in the Upon a Burning Body camp, producer, guitarist, songwriter Chris Mora from here in San Antonio. You guys kind of first met him, but he really kind of got involved too with Southern Hostility, and so did your brother Thomas Alvarez. We're going to talk more about him later, but kind of how did that kind of relationship with him, and also kind of bringing Thomas in the producing and the recording and stuff, kind of facilitate this kind of new era for Upon a Burning Body? Because, you know, at first, when I first heard Southern Hostility, I was really blown away. Really, man. I'm like, man, yeah, this is what I wanted. I think so many fans wanted kind of that raw, stripped down. Even the video that y'all did at Bombs was also kind of raw and stripped down. And I think a lot of people kind of connected with that, again, you know, because of your roots here in San Antonio. And that those kind of relationships and the way that kind of chemistry happened, like, you can't plan it. It just kind of fucking happened, right?
It flows. Yeah. We wrote with him on Southern Hostility, and we just clicked. and we knew that for the next album we had to have him back and we had to write with him again. And that's the thing, you know, as an artist, you get in your own head, you know, you kind of battle back and forth of what direction to go, and having that outside opinion really helped us kind of find the niche and kind of find out where we want to go. And once we found that, and we trusted his opinion, because you know, he has a great ear, he writes amazing music, so and we just trusted him and Thomas, and that really helped us to hone in on what Southern Hostility is. Yeah.
So now let's talk about the new EP, Built from Mora, which came out. It was kind of cool too, because you guys eventually kind of segued the tracks into the market. But all the tracks in the EP were made available at the end of July. Built from Mora EP. And one of the things that kind of surprised me too was that you guys kind of churned this EP out like in a year. And I was like, man, like most bands, and I think in your history, there had been at least 2 years in between records. So why did this one come out so fast?
I think it's really the chemistry, man. It's just we had it down, and when we went back to the studio, it just clicked, and the fact that all of us live in San Antonio, before we would have to travel to record. You know, we're recording in New Jersey and going all these places to record, and now everything's home. We can literally drive down the street, go to Chris's house, and just bang out amazing tracks, and that's really what helped us get this out so fast. Yeah.
And that's cool, dude. I mean, if you have that momentum, then obviously like take advantage of it, right? Before it goes away.
Yeah, that's exactly what our label says all the time. They're like, right now the iron's hot, you gotta strike. Keep banging out songs, you know what I mean? It's like so many bands wish they would have stayed in the studio in their prime, like, and just wrote more songs, because you know, but for us there's not really a deadline. Like, Chris is always down to record and write music, and Thomas too, and we just get on a call and we can write, and you know, it's that simple.
And it's, you know, even if you like write, you know, just like roughs or whatever, you know, you have them in the bank, and not that you have to release them too. They're just there, you know. Yeah, you can release them whenever you want.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what we're doing, man. We just stack up tracks, and you know, we write like 20 songs, and then we just weed out the ones that, you know, aren't cutting it. And it's cool because we've reached that point where we can be honest with each other. There's no hard feelings. We can be like, that's whack. Like, let's get rid of it. There's no point to put it on this EP or record or anything. And I think that's another thing, is like when you go and record with the big producer, it's kind of intimidating. Like, you don't, you know, there's this block. You've never worked with each other. You don't know how honest you can be. But with us, we're all brothers, so like we just lay it out there, and it's just you know, we're truthful, and that's what really helps us, you know, get this awesome tracks.
And then like if you're with the big producer, they're telling you to do something, and even though you might not agree with it, you're like, oh, okay.
Yeah, you get intimidated, and you're like, well, he's a big producer, he knows what he's doing, and you kind of fall into that trap, and then, you know, by the time you know it, you sound like another band, and you're just like, what the fuck?
And then at the other hand, you're thinking, well, maybe this motherfucker knows what he's talking about, you know, and this will be a big hit. You know, we don't know. It's a gamble. Yeah, man, I hear you. But this new EP, you know, I was in love with Southern Hostility. So when I first started hearing the tracks for Built from Mora, I was like, man, this is like, it's not stopping. These are great songs. And I want to talk about a couple of them. And the first one that I want to talk about is a song that I kind of felt like, this is like totally new for Upon a Burning Body, at least in my opinion. And you know, I've been following the band for a long time. I was gonna tell you earlier. Look, I have my red, white, and green there. You see it? You know, and there's remember that day, that picture right there above the AFI one. You see it? Right, you see that? Yeah, remember that day? I think you guys had driven in from El Paso that day. And we're all here, yeah. So, yeah, when you guys started kind of releasing some of these tracks, the track that really got me was Chains of Agony. I'm like, man, this is new ground for the band. And I think what made me kind of feel that way was the fact that at least, you know, Danny's vocals on that track, some of the melodies in that track were something that I was kind of not used to hearing from him, right?
Yeah, he really stepped it up, and went outside of his comfort zone, and I mean, he sang before, definitely on other records, but this is a different kind of singing, where it's more of the metal vibe, less of the scene kind of vibe, and for us, it was when we heard it, we just knew, like, man, this song is something else. Like, it has all the elements that that define us as a band, and we felt the same way. Like, when we heard that track, we're like, man, this track is special. You know what I mean? And our fans gravitate towards the heavy stuff. Yeah. But for us personally, that one holds a special place. Yeah, for sure.
Great song. And when I heard it, I'm like, man, I said, I would have made this one the first. Well, I don't know. You want, like you said, you want to please your fans with the heaviest. And 5x3, which was the opening track, definitely heavy. One of my favorite songs too. Good brutality starts. You're running out of the gate as soon as you open this EP. So, yeah, man. But all of these songs are good. The title track, Built from War, is great. What kind of was the mentality when y'all went in there? Because you were telling me, and I'll share with the people out there, that these are not leftover recordings from Southern Hostility.
No, these are totally new. And I think the mentality is just to find our roots, but also throw our modern feel on it. What Upon a Burning Body is, it's the groove, it's, the heaviness, but have those memorable metal riffs that I just feel are lost now. Like, there's not too many bands putting out those old school, like Judas Priest. You go out there and the guitarist plays a riff and everybody's humming it and everybody knows the song, like, just from that little lick. Pantera, all those bands, they had that opening riff that you just hear and you're just like, yeah. And I think that's the focus, is we're really trying to focus, to bring them both together and just find the balance of the old and the new. Yeah. And our roots and where we come from and what we love.
And there's so many talented people, doing heavy metal, and young metal musicians. We were talking about Desolate Blight a little while ago. Those guys are crazy talented guys. And I think some bands, just because they can do it, they want to cram everything they can do into one song. Yeah. And so they kind of lose the flow of the track. I think what you're saying is very true, because when I hear these songs, you start off with that main riff, you go into something, that melodic with that track, Chains of Agony, and then it'll go back into the main riff. So it's always like you never lose sense of the song, and I think that's what you're saying.
Yeah, exactly. When we first started, we were so progressive, and we realized that when we were playing live, like, everybody's waiting for that one part that they remember, and it's like, man, why are we only playing it once? Like, this should happen more in the song. Right. Yeah, so we were super progressive when we started. Like, it was like 10, 15 riffs in one song, and and there were great riffs, but it was like a waste. You know what I mean? We're blowing through them, and it's like, man, we could really utilize these good riffs and bring them back, and that way people can catch on too. Like, playing live does that. When you play live in front of a crowd, you get a sense of, like, what works. And and that's our mentality too. When we write the songs, we're thinking about, how's this going to go over live? Is this like an opening track? Like, we could come out to a show and we're going to open up with this track, and is it going to go off? And I think we've already honed in on what works and what we want to do with these tracks.
Yeah, give me 3 breakdowns instead of 1. Yeah, exactly. I want 3 breakdowns. Yeah. Also, one of my favorite tracks is Living for the Weekend, because I listened to the lyrics in that track. I'm like, yeah, Monday, Tuesday, I'm waiting for the weekend to roll around and have a good time. And Upon a Burning Body's always been about, having a good time, and, respect and pride, and, fighting the good fight, and, staying strong. I know Danny kind of handles a lot of the lyrical content, but if you had to summarize some of the lyrical content for the EP, what would that be?
I would say it's just empowerment, man. That's the main thing, is we see, like, people that need that in their lives, and we've gone through the ringer, and we've gone through these moments where we feel like we've hit rock bottom, and I feel like now we have a chance, we have a voice, and we can empower people, and we see it. Like, we have fans come up to us and they're just like, man, this song, like, it got me through this hard times, and we're just like, well, let's do that more and just try to empower everybody. And we had some songs back in the day that were kind of, I guess like I don't know, more spreading more hatred and kind of fuck this and fuck that. And now I feel like we're more about empowering people and trying to bring that positivity, but still keep it heavy and brutal. And so it's cool. It's a cool spin on it, and it's cool because we can all agree on that. And we're just like, it's a good message and it's good music. So, you can't really deny it. You know what I mean?
I think people need that more than ever these days.
Exactly.
And I remember last year when we talked and Danny was here, he alluded to that. He said, he was talking about songs on Southern Hostility and about, let's bring something positive out to our fans instead of something, violent or negative. And we were talking about this too off camera, and I said, Ruben, you've been doing Upon a Burning since 2005. That's 15 years already. So obviously, you're an older man, and everybody's, we were talking about other bands who have kids now, and you said you have a child now. So how do you kind of feel now that you're getting older? How is your kind of approach, or how is your vision about your life and what's happening around you kind of changed that has obviously who you are impacts your music? So how do you kind of feel that you've changed and how that has impacted about what you want to do with Upon a Burning Body?
Yeah, well, I think when going back and listening to our songs and going through all the stuff that we've written, that's one thing that I realized. It's like, what mark are we leaving on the world? And what are we gonna leave behind as our legacy? Yeah. Once we're done with music and all that stuff, and for our children and all that stuff. And that's a big thing too. Once we had kids, it's kind of like, man, that changes a lot. That really puts things in perspective, and that's really when things started to turn. And we're like, man, we really got to leave behind something that we're proud of, and not give into this hype, and not write these songs just for quick plays and shit like that. It's more about leaving behind something legitimate and leaving a legacy that we're proud of.
Yeah, yeah. Cool. And one of the things too that I've always kind of loved about the band is something that you continue to do today is always kind of rep San Antonio. And I remember George had sent me the tracks for the George from Seek and Strike. George Vaya, we love you. We were talking about you earlier. Had sent me the tracks, and he didn't send me any cover work. I said, George, send me the cover work for my iTunes. And then, so I had to make up my own cover work. And then he finally sent it to me, and it was the Alamo. And I said, yes, San Antonio. Upon a Burning Body has always, been proud of the fact that they're from San Antonio. You always tout the San Antonio metal scene, of which we have a great, robust metal scene. And we're going to talk more about that later. Why has that always been important to you, even now?
I think it's just because we grew up on the rough side. Me and Danny, I grew up on the west, south side. Danny was on the east, and all over the place. All over San Antonio. So, just growing up in that vibe and having it in our blood, and then making it out. And I think that's the big thing for us is we see a lot of people. San Antonio, they live here, they stay here. You know what I mean? A lot of people don't get to experience. We get to experience, and we're proud to be from here. So we spread that love. You know what I mean? And then when people come to San Antonio, they realize what a badass city we have, and how hard the fans go, how hard all the people that love metal. Every time we would play here, I remember all the other bands were like, holy shit, this is fucking crazy. Like, yeah, we're like, yeah, dude, this is what's up. You know what I mean? The fucking Mexicanos go fucking hard in the pit, and they love to fucking go off and
Drink beer.
Yeah,
Drink beer.
it's like nowhere else, man. Nowhere else we've ever been, and after traveling the world and seeing everything, I don't think there's any other place that I'd rather call home.
Wow, that's great. And, I don't think anyone could give us a better perspective on that, because so many of us do not get to go to Germany and drink hot beer and all that kind of crazy stuff. But that's cool, man, because you're able to better put it into perspective, because you've been all around to different countries and met all these different people, and it makes you more respectful of and proud of what we have here in our city. But that's great, man. And I think that what goes along with that is just the loyalty, dude. You were talking to me earlier tonight about, like, Rob, we've been through our ups and downs, but our loyal fan base is always there.
Oh yeah, man, we built that up from the bottom, and it all started here, man. And that's how we started turning heads. Is we were playing local shows, and people just always showed up, and the bigger bands started to recognize that, and every time a tour would come through, they wanted us to open, and we're turning heads, and that's eventually what got us, our first record deal, and and we owe it all to San Antonio and Texas. Everywhere we go in Texas, they rep hard, and they love us. So this is a big ass state, what I mean. To have that backing is just that's all you need.
when you talk about that, and you say, our West Siders and San Antonio and all that, I always think about the intermission video. Yeah, all those crazy fuckers in the intermission video. And you were telling me a story earlier, and I want you to share that story with these people out there, because I've never heard that story, and I think it's really fucking cool and funny, and something that is part of our history that only people that were there at the video shoot might have known. So you were telling me, like, Rob, when we did the video, we went into this house, not the greenhouse, but there was another house behind the White Rabbit, that y'all were partying at it. So what happened? Tell these people what happened.
So the Rabbit owned a house behind the venue, and basically the party scene in the video, we shot in that abandoned old house. Nobody lived there. And we're going off in there. We're shooting the video.
Is that when Danny's like pouring shots?
Yep. Yeah. The house started shaking, and we didn't know there was like bees in there. There was beehives. So there was a hive of bees flying everywhere. Everybody's going nuts. And this house just felt like it was gonna collapse. And it's no longer there. They knocked it down. It did collapse. Yeah, it's no longer there. But I mean, it's just awesome to see, like, how far everything has gone. I mean, the Rabbit and Jen, obviously Jen, Twin, and Erica, they take care of us ever since back in the day, man. And it's just awesome to have this community. Yeah.
Jen Holt, we love you. Yes. And Erica, we love you too. The record, the EP, I've as I was getting prepared for this evening, and I was doing my research, it's gotten so much great reception out in the market, not just from fans, but also from the press. I mean, I'm seeing great things in the press about this record. So how does that kind of feel?
That's great. I think this is the first time in our career that we can say that, it's nothing but positive response. And for us, that really opened our eyes that we're doing something right. And
right.
we're where we're supposed to be. And I think that just shows a lot. This is the first time I've read through things and seen, and there's, back in the day, when we released records, we'd always have that, couple of comments and our reviews that were just trash talking and bashing us. But for these last two albums, Southern Hostility and the new EP, Built from War, it's just been nothing but positive. And I think that just goes to show you, like, we're just on the right path.
Yeah. We have to also kind of, I guess, along that line, talk a little bit about, Seek and Strike, because they, and as I was telling you off camera, I go way back with George Valle, who runs that label. And George is a great guy, and he's cultivating his label, and he's cultivating it with great bands. And you guys are part of that roster. And all these guys who are on his label are also kind of these, positive people. And it's like being part of a company. You work for this company, and everybody within the company are good, smart, positive people, and they're not trying to tear you down. They want to help build you up too. So if everybody in the company is doing good, then that's just good for everybody.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. I mean, when we made the switch, it was just, day and night. They believed in us ever since the Sumerian days, and they saw something in us that we didn't, and they pushed us to write, the most metal record we could. They're just like, you guys just do what you want,
yeah,
and we'll do the rest, and we'll take it from there. So, and that's what we did, and the communication is just great. We were sending them tracks as we're writing. They're like, that's fucking badass, that's badass, that's badass. So, you know what I mean? And I think that's the thing is with most labels, you don't have that kind of camaraderie and communication. You get lost in the mix with, you know, the other 1,000 bands. So, you know, it's awesome to have that communication with them.
And that's cool too. And I think you bring up a great point, because if you're like with a big label, first of all, there's bureaucracy involved. Okay, there's not that one-on-one, you know, connection and communication. Secondly, you know, there's so much shit going on at a big label. You're just like, you know, a number. You know, you're there. And this is something I teach in my business class, actually. It's like, you know, and I tell young cats, you know, that come through these doors, I tell them, man, this business is about relationships, bro. It's about relationships. And George Vaya is one of those people that fucking gets it. So, you know, if I'm talking about a Hurting Body with him, or if I'm talking about Uncured with him, you know, he understands. He's like, Rob, you know, it's about relationships and cultivating these bands, so that they do what they do and they don't have to worry about all this other bullshit or think that the label's like fucking them over or anything. We're really just trying to help them. So I think that if you have good relationships with the label, then that allows you to kind of fucking say, okay, I don't have to worry about that. I can focus on music.
Yeah, definitely. And I think that's the thing. It's transparency. You know, they're definitely real with us. You know, when they need something, and they're just as real as it gets. You know, there's no bullshit. There's no, you know, trying to fluff us up. It's just like real. Like, hey, you know, this is what we need. This is what we want you guys to do, and that's it. You know, it's awesome.
Right. When was the last time that you guys were on the road?
December. Yeah, we did a December run.
Almost a year.
Yeah, almost a year.
Yeah, I remember I heard about that run. How did it go?
It was great. We went with Cane Hill. They were direct support, and we did a run to, let's see, where was it? Atlanta and back. And then we did, you know, our Christmas show and all that stuff. And yeah, it was great. I mean, that was the first time we ever toured with those guys, and great people. We definitely want to do another tour.
Is that the band with the big muscular singer?
No.
Okay, I'm thinking about that.
No, but they're dope, man. You should check them out. Yeah, Cane Hill.
You know, I have worked with a publicist out of Jersey. I don't know if you know her. Name's Amy Scarrato, and she's always touting Cane Hill. I think they're one of her clients, but I don't know anything about them. But cool, man. Are you dying to get back out there?
Oh yeah, man. And that's the thing that sucks is like, we don't want to be the guinea pigs to go out on that first tour when things are rough, and you know, who knows if anybody's gonna show up, or you know. So we really want to wait till shows come back full force, because we're about the live show. We're about that energy.
You've always been about Upon a Burning Body is the live show.
Yeah, so it's just like, we don't want to go and downplay that and go to a show where everybody has to sit down, or they're just, you know, everybody's separated. It's just the energy isn't there, and we feed off of that energy as well, you know, and it's tough. And I give props to those bands that are able to do that and, you know, play for crowds like that. But for us, we want to wait till it's full swing so everybody can have a good time, you know, the way it's meant to be.
It was like watching UFC tonight with no crowd.
Yeah, it's quiet.
Shit.
Crickets is
exactly. Crickets.
Yeah.
So. You know, I think, you know, I keep hearing that, you know, numbers are down as far as, you know, cases here in San Antonio. And it kind of seems like things are calming down. If things do calm down, what would you like to do for 2021?
Definitely head out on the road, and we want to support a bigger metal act. That's what we're really trying to do, is just get out there with one of these, you know, veteran bands that has been doing it forever, and kind of get out in that audience where we feel we can own, and we can, you know, basically expand our reach, you know, because we've had a taste of it. We've done Mayhem, and it was amazing for us. We've made so many fans, and now we just want to jump into that world, just cannonball, and find some bands that'll take us out. Because I feel like with Southern Hostility and the EP, we've made our stamp. Yeah, you know, we've shown what we're about now, and you know, even with the release of the EP, it kind of continued. And you know, we're not going to change. We're going to keep rolling with this, and you know, run with it until the wheels fall off.
That's That's the fucking key for everything is the music and the releases. And you guys have released those two records in the past couple of years, and they're magnificent. I mean, great records. I mean, any band I think any smart band would want to take you out and as direct support because it's only going to bring your fans out to help support the tour. I mean, that's awesome. But yeah, I mean, we'll see what happens, man. I mean, I'd love to see you guys come out. Speaking of shows, I have to ask you. You mentioned it earlier. Your annual Christmas show, is that going to happen this year?
I don't know. We're waiting to see how things play out. You know, we've talked to Jen, and you know, she definitely wants us to play a Christmas show. But with the way things are, we just would hate to book it and then have to cancel, you know, on everybody and just let everybody down. So we're definitely waiting it out and just to see how things pan out, and hopefully things will get better.
Yeah. Okay, so Ruben, now as we kind of look ahead, you know, and it's really kind of, I don't know, it's weird and strange how fast time seems to be going by, right? I mean, it's weird. Like, we're already going to be in October, and I have all my hoodies ready to put on. I'm ready for the cold weather. But I saw, you know, because I follow you guys on social media, and all you people out there should too, that you guys were already kind of writing new music already for next year?
Definitely.
Tell me all about it.
Yeah, so we don't stop, man. And even with the COVID thing, we decided to try to figure out how to do it over Skype. And, you know, and that's how we've been doing it. Yeah, so us four will get on a Skype call, and we were just riffing and writing. And you know, so me and Chris, we and Thomas, we all have the capability to record and track and write drums. Like, I always do our pre-pro, so you know what I mean, we're good in that sense. So just talking about the ideas, and then we just riff out, and we'd be like, that's a riff, and that's a riff, and we just kept going, that's a riff. And you know, and sooner or later we had, you know, I think right now we're sitting on like 15 like ideas like that could potentially turn into tracks, you know. And we usually write like half songs, and then we'll stop there and see where the vocals go and see if it's like, okay, this is a song we need to finish. Because we used to write the whole song and then be like, no, it's not good. And it just, you know, it's a long process. So, you know, now we've kind of refined our writing process, and everything just goes like that, man. And we're just churning out tracks like it's nothing, you know, and we're on fire. So, you know, we don't want to stop. That's all. Like, I was just like, we need to just keep writing and just build up that you know, library of tracks.
And then later on, do you guys kind of send stuff to Danny, and then Danny will say, oh, I like this, or I don't like that?
No, he's on the call too.
Oh, okay,
like, we're
cool.
all there, so you know what I mean. We're communicating, and if something ain't right, we'll just trash it, man. There's no hard, like I said, there's no hard feelings. So, you know, I think that really helps to refine these ideas. And then once we get the vocals on there, we'll send them to the label, and we just send them half songs. If they're not feeling it, then get it out of there. Let's move on to the next track, you know. So, you know, and we usually send them like chunks of 3 songs at a time. But yeah, we've been writing, man. We haven't stopped, and you know, now that we have a bunch of music, we're starting to buckle down and write the vocals, and you know, and we all help write the vocals too. We all we all band together, and you know, them 3 are vocalists. You know, I'm not a vocalist, but I still have a lot of ideas, and you know, I just jump in the thing, and you know, we've come up with these concepts, and it's awesome to just see it grow. You know, we do this thing where we free write, and we'll free write for 10 minutes on a topic. And you know, that's the thing, like bands don't.
Is that, you mean lyrically?
Yeah, so bands don't utilize each member, and it's not even writing lyrics. It's like writing about an idea. It doesn't have to rhyme. It doesn't have to, and you just write your thoughts on this idea, and then you pick apart those ideas, and you're like, this is a badass little thing you wrote there. That should be in the song. We can make it into a lyric somehow, but it's the ideas that matter. So yeah, exactly. Yeah. And I think that's the thing with bands. Usually they'll leave it up to the vocalist, but you have other people that have great ideas. You know, why not utilize it? And that's why we started doing that. We free write. We'll do 10 minutes, put the timer on, write on this topic, and then we pick apart the ideas. Yeah, and it's crazy because we have so many ideas that way. Like it we'll have like, you know, pages of ideas on this one topic, and that turns into a song, and it's like it's endless. So we're not sitting there struggling like, what's the next line? You know what I mean? We have pages of ideas, so it's awesome.
Dude, that is so cool the way you just kind of share that. I'm smiling. You see this big grin on me. I'm like, I'm a teacher. It kind of seems like the way I teach a class. You guys are so structured in what you're doing in your writing process, and that's awesome. You know, because I'm not a musician, and I don't know how you guys come up with these badass songs. But now I'm kind of like seeing like, yeah, it's a process, and there's some methodology to our madness and what we're doing in heavy music. So there'll be a new record in 2021.
Yes, definitely.
Full length or EP?
Full length.
Yeah, really?
Yeah, we're doing a full length. Yeah,
Wow.
definitely.
Wow.
I don't know how we're gonna release it yet. Whether it's gonna be a full drop, it just depends on if we can get the right tour, to release it, or if we're gonna release it track by track like we did the EP. You know what I mean? It just all depends. It's all up in the air right now.
Yeah.
Everything.
And I think you bring up a good point, and I wanted to ask you about that because obviously, when we were talking earlier, just because of the day and age that we live in with social media and downloading and Spotify and iTunes and everything, it's pretty obvious now that many bands in the market have kind of implemented this strategy where, we're releasing, 3 songs here, and then, we'll let 4 months go by, we'll release another single here, and things like that. And you don't hear about bands dropping a full length out of the blue, even though some bands have done it, like Avenged Sevenfold did that a couple of years ago out of nowhere. And obviously, on the back end, as business people, we have to kind of adapt to what's happening, in the market and in the music industry. So, what are some of the conversations that Upon a Burning Body is having with that? I mean, is the label wanting you to do the full length? Are you guys like saying, man, we just have a lot of music, let's release it? Or let's keep some in the bank, or because the EP I felt was really like a strategically released kind of product, and on July 31st we finally had all the tracks for the EP, or the people out there did, and I was really happy that I had the whole thing and I could listen to it. But the people were getting it, bit by bit, and then they finally had the whole thing. And to me, I can understand the strategy because we want to keep people involved with our band. We want them to keep coming back to our page. We want them to keep, anticipating the new music. And I get it. But when you're really wanting to make a statement with a big product, then I can understand that strategy too.
Yeah, I honestly feel like this day and age, it's the time for full lengths is almost over. Like, I don't feel like most people listen to a full length. And the thing with us is what happens is you put all your love and passion into these tracks, and then some of them get lost no matter what. You have 10 tracks. Nobody's gonna get to that number 7 or number 8 if they're listening to the full length. So, and they're great tracks to us. It's hard for us to put a number on them because we're like, okay, these should be the first 4, knowing that the other ones might not get heard. And I think that's the mentality. The mentality is, they call it the hip hop mentality, because a lot of people in the hip hop world, that's what they do. They drop just single, and they stay relevant. And that's another thing is, staying relevant means, you can drop a track once a month and you'll never lose it. If you spread out a full length 10 months,
that's a year.
You know what I mean? Yeah, almost a damn year of music that you got, and every track can get the love and the respect, and people get to soak it in, so I think that's where everything is heading, and for us, it's just mainly having that product. So if we do get on a big tour, then we could say, hey, we will release this on the tour in support of this tour to kind of, have us support the artists. So, that's really the strategy. Is we're going to decide if we don't get a good support slot, then yeah, we might just spread it out, and kind of release track by track. But if we do get a good tour and a great support, then hey, we'll save it for that, and kind of be like, hey, we'll do the tour and we'll save this album for that tour to kind of entice them, like, hey, take us out.
Yeah, I think that's a great strategy. And I'm one of those people, man. I like me personally, like I want to plan everything out for the next month. But that kind of with the uncertain. I think that's one of the things that's so scary about the times we live in is the uncertainty of what's happening around us. We never know what's the market's going to be like. We don't know what's happening with the pandemic. We don't know what's happening with bars and clubs and the music industry. It's so like it sucks, because you can't plan. So I mean that would drive me crazy. But that's great, man. Nonetheless, we're all going to get new Upon a Burning Body music in 2021. You heard it here on Rob's Metalworks from the man. And when Upon a Burning Body finally gets out there to play new shows, I heard there's going to be a new bass player.
Yes, sir. Our younger brother, Thomas. Yeah, Thomas is actually joining us on the bass. Joe had to step out, and we brought in our little brother, Thomas. He's my and Danny's half brother. And he jumped on the bass, and so it's awesome. He has yet to play a show with us, so and he's been in the band for since the whole pandemic started, 5-6 months already, and he's just itching to play. He's like, wow. Damn, when are we gonna tour? I was like, wow. Hopefully soon. Wow.
I have known Thomas for quite some time, and for some of you who don't know, he's the vocalist for a regional band here in San Antonio called Cold Casket. Very talented young man. And I remember one time when Danny came over, he brought Thomas along, and I knew that he was Danny's brother. And I remember when I interviewed you last year, you said he was your brother. And then I said, well, Ruben Alvarez, Thomas Alvarez. And unbeknownst to me until this evening, and many of you people out there may not know this, but he is both Ruben's half-brother and Danny's half-brother, because Ruben and Danny's mother and father were a couple. So, wow. Now, Upon a Burning Body is truly a family affair. Yeah. That's great. I think that's great. Wow.
No one better that can join us, you know what I mean? And it's awesome to have our younger brother come and join the pack and get to experience, what we do and, be a part of this, because he already helps us write, It only made sense to be like, hey, and he's played a little bit of guitar and he's wrote, riffs and stuff like that, but he's never done it full time in a band, so this is gonna be his first experience. But he dove in, man. He got some basses and he learned all the tracks, and he's ready to get down.
And aside from the fact that he's younger, so he's really hungry and he's in tune with what's happening, and but I've seen him perform too. He's a great performer.
Oh, yeah, definitely. And he's gonna add other elements. Like, he's a great vocalist, so not only that, he gets to back Danny in that sense, and add vocals, like things. Now that he's in the band, we're gonna be able to do things that we've never been able to do before.
So he'll be doing some backups.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Great. And where's Tito at?
Tito's in Michigan, man.
Is that where he lives?
Yeah, he lives in Michigan. Yeah.
He's freezing his ass off right now.
Probably. Yeah, so he lives up there, but
Mexicans in fucking Michigan?
Brazilian. He's Brazilian.
Oh, he's Brazilian.
Yeah. He looks Mexican though. He could pass. Yeah, for sure.
He's Mexican.
Yeah.
He's hanging out with Mexicans.
That's true. It's funny. He picks up the mannerisms and shit when he comes to San Antonio. He's
You got to bring him over here to the Metalworks sometime. I'd love to meet him. Did you guys? I saw the built for War static video. Were there any other videos in support of the EP?
No, just because it got released when the whole pandemic started, and trying to get Tito down here and coordinate that to shoot a video was tough. And and not only that, but to get somebody come down and film it, as well, somebody that we trusted, and it was just so many variables, and we just couldn't make it happen. But
it costs money and stuff. But I saw some of the. There's obviously a lot of streaming videos for the tracks.
Oh yeah, definitely. I made some guitar playthroughs. We've done some definitely some content out there for them.
Yeah. Okay. It's been so great to talk about Built for More. I'm a big fan of the record, and for some of you people out there who have not yet seen the Built for More EP, go ahead and take a look at it. Check it out. Be sure to look for it after you watch this interview. All my peeps from outside of Texas, This is true Texas metal. Go download it and buy it and check it out this evening. Let's talk about San Antonio now. The San Antonio metal scene. And you know, you and I are people who've been involved in this scene for a long, long time. We're throwing out names, you know, like we're talking about the White Rabbit. We're talking about Jen Holt. We're talking about all these bands from here. We're talking about producers and musicians from San Antonio. And I was really happy to hear from people that I work with through Rob's MetalWorks that, you know, oh man, Ruben is helping us out with this. He's helping us out with that. He's our big brother. He's giving us insight. We're doing a video with Ruben. And, you know, I came to realize how involved you were getting with the music scene. And I'm so happy that someone like you, who obviously has been there, you've traveled the world, you're continuing to be a working musician and create great music. Because there's so many bands here locally who'll never be able to accomplish the things that you've done. But yet, you know, that doesn't mean that they don't want to do music, you know, even if it's just here in our city. And you're helping them to get their music out there and to be seen by people outside of San Antonio. And your work with those bands cultivates the grandeur of our metal scene. I mean, without people like you, you know, many of these bands would not be getting recognized outside of the city, or being able to, more importantly, express their music and their talent through video. You know, when I think about what I just said, I think about like the Roger Trevino interview. And I'm like, God damn, dude, like you should get an Oscar for your performance in that video. Like, he was so into it, and you know, he wasn't just up there like, you know, singing. He was performing for your camera. And I've alluded to the fact that, you know, you're doing videos. So talk a little bit about RA Creative, your video company, and what you're doing in San Antonio.
Yeah, so it's something I picked up, you know, after this last break. And, you know, I kind of dabbled in it before. I did a video for Meridian with the old camera that I had. And then I decided that I just wanted to invest and really dive into it. And there's so much great talent here. Like, it's amazing. I feel like it's a new wave of just young artists that are doing big things. And, you know, they deserve that. They deserve to have, you know, good quality product out there, and somebody that can bring their vision to life. And me going through it and shooting, you know, I don't even know how many videos, and being in that position, you know, and giving advice too. That's the thing. I get so many bands that when we're shooting, they're just asking me questions and asking, and and I love it. I love it, man. And I wish I had that advice, you know, when we were growing up, so I didn't have to go through all this shit. So it's awesome to be able to help them out, and you know,
and there's no consultative fee.
No, not at all, man. I love it, man. I love it. You know, I'm an open book, so I always tell them, like, hey, man, if you have any other questions, even after this, hit me up, man. I'll help you in any way that I can, because, you know, there's so many great young artists and talent coming out of this city right now. It's amazing, and they deserve to be heard, you know. And I'm just like, wow, we have a great scene. And everybody is it's camaraderie, you know, and that's the thing. A lot of other scenes, it's cutthroat, you know, bands just don't get along and they hate each other, and there's all this stigma. But here, it seems like a lot of bands help each other out, and it's awesome to see that, you know, people posting each other's music, and just, you know, you obviously, like, you're a huge help to the community as well, and the metal community, and I think it's just awesome to be a part of that. And with me and RA Creative, you know, that's all I want to do is just bring their visions to life. And even if it's something crazy, like, they'll come with a crazy idea, and I was like, okay, let's figure out how to do that in the budget that you have, because they may not have this huge budget to get this crazy idea out, but, you know, I try to make it happen at the best of my capabilities. And
I was gonna say, you know, too, You know, like because I saw the Fortunes video, all these other videos that you've done, and everybody's like, Rob, like Ruben is so great. You know, he's very cost effective for us. He's not charging us an arm and leg. He's really allowing us to do what we want to do on a small budget. He's willing to work with us.
Yeah, definitely, man. Because I know it's hard, man. It's hard to raise those funds. And I see bands like even just to shoot a video, they're like, let's start a GoFundMe so we can make this happen. And and I'm just like, man, that's amazing, and I appreciate that. And I try to give them a break. I'm just like, hey, let's make it happen. What's your budget? And let's try to work together to get your vision out there and something that you're proud of and that you could put out there. Because, a lot of bands, they put out stuff and, it's just, it doesn't come across right. Maybe they didn't have the money to put into it. And because videos can get expensive, you know what I mean? So, I try to help everybody out and just, do the best I can.
The naked chicks are going to cost extra. Yeah. That's very cool, man. I'm glad that you're doing that. And you were telling me earlier too, like you're expanding, outside of the music market too. All businesses out there can call upon RA Creative to do video work.
Yeah, definitely. I want to expand, and I just love shooting, cinematic video, and that's my whole viewpoint. Is I want it to look like cinematic. I want it to look high budget without paying that high budget cost. So and that's where I'm at. And I'm helping out homies, to try to get their businesses out there. Like the first two businesses I did were friends, a tattoo shop and an MMA gym, and it's just awesome to help out people.
Yeah, man. That's what it's all about. And I hope that your business continues to flourish. I mean, I just keep hearing great things about it. As we get near to the end of this interview, I heard something funny the other day. Like, I think it was the day of the barbecue that we had here at the MetalWorks, and I wish you would have come. I know you were working that day, but like you're like, yeah, man, no, Ruben, I get online and I fight him on video games. I'm like, what? I'm like, what are you talking about? He goes, yeah, man, bands versus fans. I'm like, what are you talking about? I never heard anything about it. And then, today I kind of did my research and I found it. You guys do Call of Duty against other fans?
Yeah, so me and Thomas play Call of Duty a lot, and it's cool because Seek and Strike has gotten a relationship with Activision. So we told them about this thing we wanted to do where it would be bands versus fans. It would be Upon a Burning Body, and you get to join up with this while we're playing live, and we just get to shoot each other. And I'm not even that great, man. I suck. I die all the time, but it's just fun, man. I'm not.
I was about to say, Ruben, I hope you let your fans win sometimes. Yeah. They're not going to want to play with you if you always kill them.
Some of them are fucking amazing. I die all the time, but it's just fun, man. It's just cool, and they appreciate it, and it's something for us to do during this time that there's nothing going on, and we're just like, let's keep it going with our fans, keep in touch with them, and do this fun thing like that. And everybody's playing that damn game, man. Call of Duty is like, everybody.
What system is that? Is that like PC?
PC, PS4, Xbox, and it's cool because it's cross compatible. So you can now play with somebody who has an Xbox or a PC.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So it's changed, since back in the day.
Yeah. I still have Xbox, the regular Xbox here. But it's Halo.
That's what's up. That's how it all started right there.
Exactly, brother. Halo. Exactly. Wow, man. Ruben, what a great conversation we've had this evening. Anything that I missed? Anything that you want to share with people out there who are around the world who will watch this interview?
No, just go check out my page and the artists that are on there, RA Creative on Facebook, and there's a lot of amazing artists that I'm working with. Kingside Records, they're doing great things. They're signing a bunch of artists from San Antonio, and they're getting them out there. So we have a lot of great talent coming out of our city, and you definitely should do your homework and check out some of these bands.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Great. Thank you, Ruben, so much, sir, for coming over tonight and spending time with me and watching UFC with me and drinking beer with me and stuff. I hope we can do this again next year when the new record comes out. Please, I'm glad that you were eager to come over here and talk with me. Upon the Burning Body is a very important band in our town. And I have always supported you guys, and I want to continue to stay connected with you and the band in some way, because I'm a fan. I've always been a fan, and you guys are part of this room, and will continue to be so. So all you people out there, thank you for watching this evening. Remember, pick up the brand new EP from Upon a Burning Body. It's called Built from War, and for some of you guys who haven't even heard Southern Hostility, go pick that one up too. It just came out a year ago. It's not even old. I love that record too. Remember, you saw the man right here, only on Bob's